Hi, I'm Autumn and welcome to my YouTube channel. So now that we have passed the midpoint of the year, today I want to do a video that is very popular this time of year, and that is a mid-year goal review. So I will be looking at the goals that I set earlier this year and seeing how well I'm doing on them and reevaluating going forward for the second half of the year. So in January, I put up a video talking about my goals for this year. One of the big goals that I set for myself was reading a lot of the unread books that I own. I have a shelf of unread books that I want to clear out to make room for a Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew collection that I have at my parents' that I want to bring here so that I have all my books in one place. In total, I have about 160 unread books. So I set myself a goal of reading 10 books a month. I figured that that was a reasonable goal while pushing myself slightly each month. So I set my Goodreads goal at 120 books with the intention of spreading that out evenly throughout the months. I exceeded the 10 books a month goal in January, in March, and in June, and I didn't meet or exceed that goal in any of the other months. It's kind of evened itself out in terms of the total number of books. So as of filming this, I have read 73 books this year. However, only 17 of those books were books that I owned, and several of those were books that I bought this year. In the months that I exceeded my 10 books a month goal, I read a lot of library books. In January, I read most of the Jedi Apprentice series, and in March and June, I read a lot of the Hardy Boys adventure stories. Another goal that I set for myself in January was I wanted to participate in the Read Your Shelves challenge hosted by Chantel at An Intentional Life. I fulfilled the prompt for January, and I have a book on my July TBR that will fulfill the prompt for July. However, I haven't fulfilled the prompts for any of the other months. I either didn't finish the book that I chose for the prompt or completely forgot about the prompt altogether. I've also put out 4 videos throughout the month on books that I want to read this year. So I have a few different categories. I had one on general fiction, I had a nonfiction one on writing craft, and one on series that I want to finish this year. The majority of the books on these lists are books that I own, except for a couple of books in the series that I want to finish, where I don't own every book in the series, so I would have to fill in with copies from the library. Altogether, there were 34 books on those lists combined. So far, I've read 6 books off of those lists, and I have 5 more on my July TBR. So, what have I learned? I knew that I was a mood reader before. I'm noticing that come out a lot in this. I struggle with keeping to the TBRs that I set, and I tend to want to read books that are similar to each other all in a row. So if I like a book, I want to read something similar to it right after it. Hence why I tend to read a lot of series all together. And this year I've noticed that I like to read a lot of short and quick and easy reads. When I have the number goal in my head, I want to read as many books as possible. And so I've been focusing more on short ones. And I've noticed that I tend to not want to read, and so read less when I try to force myself to stick to the TBRs that I've set. So going forward, there are 2 things that I want to do. I do really want to continue to try to meet my goal of focusing on the unread books on my shelf. So how I want to do that is I want to focus first on reading the books on my anticipated reads list, as those are the ones that I am most excited about of the books that I own, and so it makes sense to focus on those first. And then from there, I want to start setting more general TBRs, and so instead of picking out a list of a few specific books, I think I want to start doing TBRs by genre or author or series, so that I can take advantage of reading similar books all together, and I can pick what other specific mood or length I'm in the mood for at the moment, instead of trying to anticipate what I'll be in the mood for in a month. And my shelves are already organized by genre, so I can pick a shelf to focus on in a particular month. So that was my mid-year goal review. Let me know in the comments below how your reading goals for this year are going.